Hey everybody! So I am here today to share my story when it comes to doing digital marketing. This has been very requested. Um, I started digital marketing the last week of April 2024. It is now about halfway through July, and to date, I am right under 13,000 that I have made. The way that I run my personal business, I help people learn how to market on a minimal budget. I am very into having an ethical business, having a morally correct business, selling ethically, being authentic, using your story as a part of your brand, and really actually authentically helping people in their journey to get to success. I don't have and will never have any type of course that is $400 or $500 or more. I really don't think that that's necessary. I think there are courses that are expensive that have value, but when I started my journey, which we'll get into this timeline, I couldn't afford courses like that, even on a payment plan. So it became a goal of mine to really do this for the underdogs, to do this for the girls who have negative bank accounts that, they can't spend any money even if they have it because it has to go to rent or they're going to get evicted or they're going to get a car repossessed or, whatever. I'm doing it for the people who the only hesitation in them stepping into starting a business and doing this is, the money aspect. So I like to offer a lot of free information all over my Facebook page, as well as giving low cost options that really can step by step make it easier for you. Okay, so without further ado, let's kind of jump into my story, how I got started, and how that venture has been. Okay, a lot of you know a bit about just my personal things that I've been through. I had a daughter that was born last year in January. She was a micropreemie. She had a very long NICU battle and fought through a lot of stuff, and we got to bring her home after about 6 months in the NICU. She was home with us for about 3 weeks, and she passed away last July from heart failure. It was a very hard time in our lives. The way that things happened was pretty traumatic, and I have 2 other sons that I've been helping them get through their grief journey as well as navigating my own. I had a lot of support when it came to, her funeral and expenses and things like that. But when everything was done, I had about maybe 2 to 3 weeks off of work, and then I had to go back to work. I'm a single parent. I'm a 1-income household. I had to pay my bills. My bills were not stopping. They are not going to pause my rent being due, even though I lost a child. I had to go back to work. I had a really easy job. I worked in finance. I had a work from home job. They were pretty flexible with scheduling, but I needed to take a leave to grieve and really get through what I needed to get through, but I couldn't because finances. So I went back to work about 3 weeks maybe after the funeral and just told myself, like, I can do this. It's not a hard job. And then fast forward a couple months into January of this year, I missed a lot of work. That was the month that would have been her first birthday. Things were just getting really hard to deal with, and I had some more needs that I needed to be there for my older son, and things were just getting really hard. So basically, I missed too much work. I lost my job in February, and from there I was relieved in a sense because I could actually process grief and do things I needed to do that I was putting off to survive. But also, I'm like, my finances. I started door dashing. I started doing a lot more resale with clothing, just trying to make money to not lose my house and not, lose everything. I tried to reach out in my community for support, and that was not taken very well. And I just was not getting to a good place financially and mentally because the financial stress can do so much to eat at you. So I want to say March, I came across a group and I was intrigued by the group name. It had to do with digital marketing, and I joined the group. And I've always had a side of me that's been into business and marketing. I went to college for business, and I've always had something on the side, but I've never really dove into something like digital marketing and really having a business and making this much money. So I was kind of lurking in the group for a little bit, reading posts. There was a bunch of people selling courses back and forth to each other and seemed kind of like weird but like also interesting, and I'm like trying to navigate like what's going on in this group. Okay, so after a couple weeks I made a post, kind of just explaining my situation that I explained to you guys about my daughter and losing my job and everything like that. And of course there was a ton of comments on there, a lot of people trying to sell me, talking about payment plans and this course and that course. And I was interested, but I'm like, being realistic, like the money that I have is putting food on my table, going to rent. Like I can't sacrifice that money even with a payment plan to go buy UBC. Was the course that was really trending, I guess, at that time. And just as a beginner, you're just like, okay, I buy a course, but like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? So I had a couple people that I had conversations with and messages. I went to them. I really didn't give a lot of time to people that were cold messaging me. I'm super, super duper duper against cold messaging. Please don't do that to people. Let them come to you. It's not hard. And there was a mentor that kind of talked with me for a good bit. She, let me know what she had to offer and what could benefit me, but she really took time to listen to me and listen to my story and cared. There was no underlying ill intent of trying to sell me this, or like, oh, you can't buy this today? Okay, I'll talk to you when you can. Like, it wasn't like that. And a lot of other people, didn't. They were very salesy, very, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. I kind of stuck with her and learned what was going on with this digital marketing. And, the way it looks is that there's people just reselling courses back and forth to each other. And that's not at all. Once you dig a little bit deeper and learn kind of what people are doing, is that they're learning how to market and taking that knowledge to teach other people how to market. But it doesn't mean you have to resell a course. I've never bought a $500 course. I never will buy a $500 course or anything more than that. I was like, you know what? For my daughter and for my kids, I'm going to figure this out and make it work. I have a business background. I consider myself an intelligent person. Like, I can do this. Failing is not an option. I have to get myself out of this, because looking for another job wasn't happening, first of all, which I've never had an issue getting a job. I have a great resume. I have a college degree, and nothing was working out for me. So I'm like, this has to work. I know I can do this. And like, for my daughter, I will not let this fail. So then what I did is, I want to say like mid-April, I made a purchase. I bought an 11 guide bundle from this person I was talking to that I trusted. And the first thing I did, period, was I just sat and learned. I went through all of those guides inside and out multiple times. I took notes as I was going through all of this, like I was in college, spent 8 hours a day, like I am studying to learn social media, to learn marketing, how, to get sales, how to connect with people, all of these things in these guides, email marketing, SEO, sales funnels, all that stuff. Okay. That's all I did was learn. I wasn't trying to sell anything. I wasn't trying to do a whole bunch of things, together at one time. All I did was learn for a good 3-4 days. Okay. Once I did that and my brain was packed with all this knowledge about how to market, how to get started with my notebook for business, that is when I launched all of my social media accounts. I started on Instagram, I started on TikTok, and I was kind of dabbling with Facebook. I wasn't really promoting a lot. It was more of just me engaging in posts of other people and really just putting value into what I've learned from these guides. Like, people that are struggling or have a question about marketing, I'm in those comments, not selling, but just engaging with them and offering my free valuable information to start kind of being seen and build a reputation. But, I did in the beginning what everybody told me to do. Like, I started on Instagram and TikTok. I had somebody that I purchased an Ultimate Canva Vault from that had a lot of planners and stuff in there. So I would print out these like worksheets and to-do list and social media planners and stuff like that, and I would kind of make a schedule for myself of, okay, this is what I need to do every day on TikTok, on Instagram, this is what B-roll content is, this is what I need to do every day on those platforms. I need to post things. I need to do my keyword research and write out storytelling captions, engage with people in my niche and people in the communities that my target audience is in. And that's what I started doing every day. I had everything organized in the folders of my phone. I would batch content. So on days where I'm like looking good, feeling like I can talk a lot and stuff, I would start filming like short videos, edit them, and stick them in folders that haven't been posted yet so that I could draft them and have them ready to go on those platforms. Okay, so I did that throughout the whole month of May and continued learning as I was doing that, because as you're engaging, you're reading other comments, you're seeing other posts, you're reading what's going on in, tech world and social media world and digital marketing world, what new courses might be coming out, what are the pain points people are struggling with. You're constantly learning every day as you're engaging. So you're always growing as you're doing whatever you're doing on whatever platform that you're doing it. That was my week of May, and I got my first sale because what I did was, as I launched those pages and started doing content to get it out there and start engaging, I also launched my first store, and I started with exactly what I bought. So the 11 guide bundle that I purchased had PLR rights, so I could customize that content that I read and studied and fit it to my own branding, and I could go ahead and start my store with those products. So here's my first set of marketing guides that I have for you guys. It was like how to understand faceless marketing on TikTok and Instagram and yada yada yada. And I did go faceless like the first 2 days I started, and I was like, I want to be face forward. I want to talk. I want to show my face, my personality. Like, I feel like I'm going to have a really hard time branding if I don't do that, especially because faceless marketing really started like trending and all those pages were starting to kind of look the same, and I wanted to stand out. Okay. I didn't have beacons. I didn't have StanStore. I started my store on Linktree, and there is another website called SendOwl, and you link those together. They're both free versions. SendOwl allows you to have up to like 10 digital products that you can list, and then you integrate that into your Linktree and people can purchase from you on there. That's how I started. So I did everything I was taught to do with posting content, engaging, trending audios, all that stuff that you learn with those platforms. I did have people that were coming into my DMs, not a whole lot, because I was focused on building, the foundation of my business, what I wanted to focus on as a business to stand out against other people teaching marketing. But I would get people in my messages like, what are you doing? How are you doing this? Because before I had the sales or income that I could show, I was implementing what I learned on how to grow on TikTok and Instagram, and it was working. I got to like 100 followers in a week on both platforms. It was all organic, nothing with paid ads. I don't really truly believe you need to do anything with paid ads, especially at the beginning. Maybe as you grow your business and want to scale, but I don't think that's helpful in the beginning. There's a lot of other work you can do organically to get those followers. But without having sales or proof that I had sales of what I had, I was showing that what I was learning was working. So, hey, I learned this, and this, and these guides on how to grow a following and get people to come to me. And these are my followers in a week. This is the type of engagement I'm getting in this amount of time. Those were my street cred things before I could say, hey, I've gotten sales with this. Like, show what the value is and what you have, and then show how you've made that work for your business. There's always ways that you can show, some credibility in what you're doing if you haven't gotten sales. That's a huge, pain point that people have. Like, how do I convince people to buy this from me when I don't have a sale yet, or I don't have like a list of sales or whatever? Another thing that I learned and started working on was offering a freebie of some type. So, let's say you get started and you're not ready to jump into email marketing. I didn't start email marketing until probably mid to late May, but I still had a freebie because that's going to collect lead information for you, which is just names and emails. And you have a leads list generating for when you do start email marketing. You still have that information, and you can broadcast your emails, automate your emails. But essentially, in marketing, I was learning not really just how to sell to people, but really like marketing and selling, they're two different things. I was learning with marketing how to find and fill a gap in marketing. What are you seeing something, as far as what people need in that niche? And is it being filled? If it's not being filled, you're not seeing things that help solve that problem. That's a gap in the market that you can fix. A couple things happened here from May. Oh, and also as I started like in that first month of May, I did a lot with branding. Branding is very important. A lot of people skip that step. So, how does your business stand out? What is your story? Write it down. What pain points are you trying to trigger with your audience? Who are the people that are going to buy from you? What does your ideal customer look like? What is your tone? How are you speaking to people? What are your brand colors and fonts, and what's your aesthetic? And that was important because I was on Instagram and TikTok and I had like a grid view and all that stuff. I don't worry about that now, but from there a couple things happened. So at the end of May, I did a month-end business review, and I noticed in my analytics, at this point I had switched over to the cheaper option on StanStore, and I noticed in my analytics that most of my leads and sales were coming from Facebook. And I was like, that's interesting, because I've been mainly focusing on Instagram and TikTok like I was taught how to do. But I was getting some leads, I was getting some sales from Instagram and some DMs and TikTok, but not the way I was on Facebook. And Facebook wasn't even my focus. That was just me being in digital marketing groups, engaging and trying to get them over to like my Instagram or my TikTok to be more consistent over there as a follower. So, I had like 1,000 something leads and 900 something of them came from Facebook. And I was like, you know what? This content stuff is really stressing me out. It's stretching me thin. I feel like it's taking up a lot of time in my day. I am getting growth, but it's not really going at the rate that I want it to. Seeing that type of progress from Facebook when I wasn't even focused on it, I was like, what if I just stopped messing around at all with content? No videos, no worrying about captions, hashtags, covers, trending up, none of that. What if I just stopped worrying about that and put all of my marketing efforts into Facebook? I love Facebook. I am a Facebook queen. I've had Facebook since it ever became a thing and existed. I can work my freaking way around Facebook and I'm good at it. So that's what I did. In June, the beginning of June, I shifted all of my marketing attention on Facebook, and I was like, this is a gap that needs to be filled in the market, because all these people were in these groups offering how to market on Pinterest, Etsy, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Now there's a thing with Reddit and Threads, which we'll get into that later, but there wasn't stuff really on Facebook. There were people that they were selling like a list of groups that you can promote in. Some courses covered it a little bit. Yeah, but there wasn't really people like, hey, I have this guide on how to market on Facebook. I was like, let me write a book. I'm a writer. I like to write. So I sat down, I think it was the first week of June. It was like that weekend. I sat down, I took 3-4 days, and I wrote this book. And when I wrote this book, I didn't know it was going to take off the way that it did. I launched the book, and when I launched it, I let the first 100 people grab it for $1. It sold out in less than 24 hours, and I just marketed it on Facebook in groups. Then I raised the price to $5 and launched it again. For the next 100 people, you get it for $5. That sold out within 24 hours. Then I raised the price to $10, and it took a little bit longer to sell out then. But in building that traction, I became known as the girl that has the Facebook marketing ebook. And that book that filled a gap in the market from what I learned previously, that book took me to $5,000 in less than 3 months. And I never sold a product over $70. I never had a course in my store. I never had purchased a course. I was never promoting a course. So I got to $5,000 without any of that. And that's why it became so important to me to show people you can do this without a course. You can so do, it's going to take more work, it's going to take more self-discipline, it's going to take more organization. You're going to have to kind of piece things together the way a course can do for you, but it's possible. I'm literal proof. So these people coming into these groups that are like, oh, I don't want to get into this and just resell courses, it's very MLM-y. No, first of all, you're getting all of the profit from any done for you product that you buy and sell. That's all yours. That's yours. Nobody else is profiting from that. So, but you don't have to get into this and be reselling courses. Like, I learned marketing, learned how to fill the gap in the market, looked at my analytics, looked at the things I was taught to look at and how to do, made business decisions on how to shift and pivot where I wanted to, focus on Facebook, wrote a book about it, launched it, and now that's a part of my reputation. And then in that, as you know, I'm doing all that knowledge and writing this book and selling and stuff like that, I am always, every single day, engaging. Engagement is key, because if you start off and you're trying to sell while you're learning and like don't know what you're doing and you're going in all these directions, you're going to get very burnt out, you're going to get very overwhelmed, and that's where all that information overload comes in the beginning, where you're like, oh, this makes sense, but I still don't know how to start. You have to do one thing at a time. You have to do it the right way. We all want the money. We all want, you know, the different lifestyle, the more time with our family. But in the beginning, you have to take that extra time. You have to work those extra hours just like you have a normal job. And you're working without seeing the sales yet. And it is worth it. I've made almost $13,000. It's worth it to do it the right way in the beginning to avoid being burnt out and not making sales down the road. You're laying the proper foundation strong for your business. But engagement is huge, because you can sell, but people are looking at your posts like, who is that? Who are you? Why do I care that you're selling this? Even if it's a great product, it's like something that people need. It's like, okay, but who is selling this to me, and why do I trust them? Why do I care? Okay, versus they see somebody else that has a similar product or the same product, and they've seen them engaging and they've seen them giving value, so they're going to go buy from that person instead of you. Okay, so that's why even before you start launching a store, or you know, your products are selling, that you need to be all up in whatever platform you start on, and you need to be giving free information away from what you've learned. As you start doing that, you start meeting a lot of like-minded people that sell the way that you do. They agree with a lot of the branding things that you do. They market in an ethical manner the way you want to, and you start to network. Okay, I met Bree, God, I don't know if it was early May, but I met her through, I had made a post somewhere, and she messaged me, or I messaged her, and we started talking about a need that I had. And we just started talking, and we just clicked, like on a personal level, on a business level. We're both Libras. Like, we see almost everything exactly the same. And she is somebody I talk to every single day. We talk about personal things. We talk about business things. She is somebody that I will never trust anybody else in this business world the way I trust her. And it happened, like, I met her on a whim. I wasn't looking to network. It happened. She had a group that she created called Executive Hive, and she made me a mod fairly quickly for that group. Now I am an admin in that group, and we are working on trying to brand it. And we've went from 200 and something members in that group to 1.3, almost 1.4 thousand people in that group, and we're gonna brand and monetize it. And that's just it's a networking thing. And I wasn't looking to, like, hey, who wants to make money with me and collab? Like, it just starts to happen as you engage and you have conversations with people. You know, I really realistically want to one day in the next year, 2 years, have a group of women that we're very like-minded, and we go and take like business trips. Maybe we go and host some seminars and have conferences for women that want to get into business. That's something I would love to do. As you start going on and, you know, doing business things, it's always an up and down journey. It's always trial and error. So, you know, even though I can sit here and say like, hey, like, I've made almost $13,000, there's things that I plan still that don't work. There's posts that I'm like, oh, this is genius, this is going to give me so many leads, and those posts flop, you know, on Facebook. But I will say, like, stepping away from video content and Instagram and TikTok, like, has relieved so much stress for me. And now one of my things I'm doing as a business is I am going to help people learn how to market who don't want to mess around with videos and content and stuff, and focus more on platforms like Reddit and Threads and Facebook, where it's just like written content or short form content, or, where you don't have to have that type of stuff in your schedule, because it's very stressful. And I feel like the growth is slower. For me personally, it was. There's some people, they go on TikTok and Instagram and that's their jam. Okay. But for me, that part just wasn't for me. I don't mind making videos. Like, it was just how much more it was putting in my schedule when I could just go into Facebook and post on my page, post in groups, go through my timeline and engage and comment on stuff is so much easier. I could get so much more done quickly. And I was seeing better results from it. But you're always going to end up getting more ideas of things you want to do. And so my best advice for that is something I'm really focused on right now, is having number one, staying organized. Just staying organized from the beginning. Don't forget about taxes. Whatever you cash out, take 30% of that and put it somewhere else for taxes. I don't care if you've not even made $500 yet. Take it out and put it aside for taxes. Keep a log of everything you're spending for your business. When you cash out, put the date and how much you've cashed out for it. Like, keep your stuff organized, your content organized. If you're in Canva getting done for you products, keep things organized in folders. Like, here's my planners, here's my journals, here's my ebooks. Like, stay organized. It will make your life so much easier. Having a daily to-do list is essential. When you're on social media, especially, a lot of people start and they're trying to throw themselves into like 3, 4, 5 different platforms. Like, oh, I'm going to market here, here, and here, and here, and here, because I'm going to reach more people and da, da, da. It's so much better to pick one place that you want to stick to first and learn it inside and out. Facebook for me. Like, okay, I had an interest in learning Threads. It's popping off. I don't have to really do videos or anything like that. Reddit, I do have some experience with Reddit. But I didn't want to jump into all of that with Facebook. I'm like, let me have a solid month or two where I'm only focused on Facebook. Even if I feel like I have the free time, I'm only focused on Facebook. And then when I have that down pat, I have a daily schedule that I don't have to look at. I just remember it. Then I'll start learning about Threads. And I do the same process for each thing. Learn it, study it, take notes on it, start engaging on it, launch on it, then start selling on it. Then keep track of your metrics, and then go from there. And some things you'll stick with and some things you won't, and that's okay. I think when people get started, especially when they work on branding and how they want to sell, how they want to present their business, they're overthinking it so much. And what people need to understand is that your business is always going to evolve. You may want to start as a blank type of business, and 3 months down the road, it turns into a different shift. Like, things will change. I didn't think that 2 months in, I was going to be able to tell people I made $10,000 and I'm only marketing on Facebook, because Instagram and TikTok is where I was taught to go. What took me to 10,000 and over 10,000 was a course and community called DBA. It stands for Digital Boss Academy. The only reason that I even bought DBA, and because remember, I had the mindset of, you can do this without a course. You don't need a course. I'm not ever purchasing UBC. And the thing is too, when you're engaging and you're in business, especially with social media, things are always going to trend. Things are always going to change. New platforms are going to come out. People are going to hype them up. They're going to make guides on it, even if it sucks, right? You have to think with a very analytical mindset and really see between the lines of, like, people selling something are always going to tell you it's great. You know, it would be great if everybody sold honestly and ethically, but that's just not the reality. It's not. So, like, let's say Threads came out and nobody was actually getting leads on Threads. They are, okay? But if nobody was getting leads on Threads, like, and they wanted to write a guide about it because it's the new platform everybody's using, they're going to hype that ish up and be like, I got this amount of da-da-da in sales, and, like, you don't know if it's true or not. Like, you have to be very leery and not so easy to trust things in people. And I don't mean that like don't trust anybody. You really have to use your intuition and your gut, okay? Don't rush purchase decisions. If you feel uneasy about something, don't get it. Give yourself a week, and if you still want it, okay, maybe get it then. Same thing with if you're talking to people that are trying to sell something for you, or you think it could help your business and you can offer it to your customers. You might talk to people and it's not that you don't like them, or it's not that you think that they are bad at what they do, but you may just not mesh. And that is a valid reason to not purchase from them. You know, if I sit and have a conversation with somebody about DBA, and I practice limiting the information I give to people so I'm not exhausting myself from people who may not buy from me. I'm not mad at them if they go and end up purchasing from somebody else because they felt like they connected to that person more, because I authentically really care. You know, if you don't think I'm going to push you to a certain point in your journey that so and so is going to push you to because you guys relate to this, that, and the other that me and them maybe don't, that's fine. I'm really actually okay with that. And some people take that way too personally. It is frustrating to sit and have a conversation, especially over days or weeks with somebody, and then they don't buy from you. That can be frustrating, but I'm never ever mad at anybody about that. But anyways, with DBA, I had a mentee who adored me, and she was like, girl, you need to get DBA because I want to buy it from you. I don't want to buy from anybody else. And I was like, I don't buy courses. Like, I do have somebody that has DBA and you can go get it from her. Like, I trust her. I trust sending you to her. And she thought about it and she was like, no, like, I will only buy it from you. If I don't buy it from you, I'm not buying it. Like, please, she was like, please buy DBA so I can buy it from you. And I was like, okay, but let me check it out first. Let me go and do my research first and make sure it's something that stands up to the values I want for my business that I can offer to people. I don't want to buy it just for her to buy it. If I'm going to buy it and invest in it, I want to be able to really offer it to my audience and make sure it aligns with what I want. Okay, so I did that. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of reading about posts about it, and it was really popping off at the time. So I had to really, really dig into some stuff. But I liked it. So I purchased it, and I don't regret it. I've had it for maybe about a month now. I am still getting through all the modules and learning from it. And she did purchase it from me that day I got it in my store. And that's how I got DBA. And I'm so glad that I did. And one of the reasons I did was because when I got it, it was $111. They did release volume 2 July 1st, so now it's $222, and you get volume 1 for free with it. You can still buy just volume 1 for $111, but it's a lower cost course. So it still fits with my alignment of, if you want something that's going to, give you a step-by-step, you don't have to be a self-disciplined. It's going to walk you through. There's video walkthroughs. There's homework assignments. There are written resources. There was a whole PLR vault in there, which are done-for-you products you can go in and edit and customize to your own branding. That PLR vault alone and DBA made me double my money back that I paid for the course, like, very fast. I took, they had a guide in there. It's a digital marketing step-by-step playbook. Took that bad boy, edited it, put it up in my store, rebranded it, and that thing sold like crazy. And that's without me even trying to sell the course yet, just from done for you product that's in their vault. And they have a bunch. They have a separate vault that is done for you content. That's super big because a lot of people don't want to make their own content if they're on Instagram or TikTok. There's like over 43,000 done for you pieces of content in there. And then they have a community. And then the volume 2 release is insane. There's so many different types of income revenue streams that you can have. But yeah, that's how I got DBA. So then I started selling this course. I became a course seller, guys, okay? But again, it aligned with what I was doing because it's under $500. There's payment plans available. And it's a course that I really did see value in and believe in. And this course got me to over $10,000 before the end of June. So that's my journey with that and getting DBA, because a lot of people will ask me, oh, did you get to all this money you've made with just DBA? I didn't purchase DBA until like the last week of June, and I got to where I got to without ever having a course. And that's why I feel like it's important to show both sides of that story in my journey. The only other course I bought is BPU, it's Business Pro University, because in DBA they have calls monthly. And there was a sales call in DBA with somebody named Coach Matt. He is amazing. So I used to watch like sermons of TD Jakes. I know that's all controversial right now, whatever. But like TD Jakes, he has energy similar to that. And it's very like no BS, get up and do the work. And like motivational at the same time, but also like, I'm not going to let you make excuses and you can do this and this is how you do this. He gets to the point. So the BPU is his course, and it doesn't have really anything in there except how to sell, email marketing, how to talk to people, how to connect, what branding and marketing really is, how to sell. So when people are like, oh, I bought UBC, I bought DWA, SWC, so they buy all that stuff and they're still sitting here in these groups like, I don't know how to sell. I'm not getting sales. BPU is what you need. If you're a business, and I'm almost through BPU, I'm finishing up the last couple modules today, but if you're a business and you got your branding down, your store's up, you know what you're selling, you know who you're selling it to, but you're still not getting sales, BPU is what you need. And it's the cheapest course I have. It's $100 right now. It is going to go viral. At some point, it is going to go viral. It is going to go up in price. There's more that's going to be added to it. But you can get it on a payment plan and pay $25 a month for it. How to sell. Now, if you're like brand new, and you're not sure what niche you want to be in, what type of branding you want to do, my cat is just staring at me, guys. Like, he's just, that's my baby. Anyways, if you're brand new, and you need to work on your branding, who your target audience is, what their pain points are, DBA is what you need. They have a whole branding module. They have different types of revenue you can do if you don't want to do digital marketing. Like, DBA is a fully, truly for beginners, thorough course, and they have community to help you if you're stuck on something. Also, anybody that gets either, so DBA or BPU from me, you get free mentorship from me for life. I'm really debating on making a community to put my mentees in, where we do like weekly lives, like Q&A sessions, and have things organized to where if somebody comes into the group and they're like, oh, I'm struggling with how to get my freebie up and set up email marketing, we can cover that in a screen recording video and stick that in a folder for anybody else that has that question to watch that, in my community. Yeah, that's my journey. So right now I'm still focused on Facebook marketing. I'm still selling that book like crazy. It has resale rights. Facebook marketing is a huge focus for me. I'm starting to get in and learn about Reddit and Threads. I'm doing some engagement in there, but I'm also still in my note-taking phase of like learning those and learning their algorithms when it comes to that. I am working on a daily to-do list for people that are marketing mainly on Facebook to give out to people. And then I also have a second book that I'm working on right now that I'm not going to share too much information on because this is a free video and I don't want somebody to take my idea and skedaddle with it. So not sure a rough time for a launch for that yet, but there is another book coming. I am in that executive hive group going hard. I am networking. I am building my reputation. I'm huge into mindset. I'm huge into, we've all went through some ish. We've all went through, maybe you haven't went through some traumatic stuff and had a pretty easy life. A lot of us have though. And you got to find that fire within you to truly want to get out of the situation that you're in. I think a lot of us, we've been so molded into what is normal when it comes to making income, having a job, having a 9-to-5, having to work set hours and still struggling because that's the way you were taught to do it. And it's scary. It's scary to think about, even if you keep your job and start this business, like I had nothing to lose. I already didn't have a job. I was already struggling. I was already doing everything I could to hold on to what I had. So I started this. I had nothing else to lose. You absolutely can do this and still have a job. It might take you a little bit longer to get those first foundational steps done, but then you can take off and it can be passive income. You can automate it. Like, it's scary to think about starting something like this and you're scared it's going to fail. You're scared you're not going to do as well as this person or, have ideas, but you learn so much as you go. And there's so many supportive, genuine people in marketing and just the business world. Some of them aren't, but just really use your gut, really connect with somebody that you connect with. There's so many people, and people thinking this is saturated and everybody's doing this. No, first of all, 90, out of all the people that want to do this and start digital marketing or even start and launch accounts, only 5 to 10% of them are really going to stick to it and do it. Most of them are doing it the wrong way. Most of them are skipping steps. They're not branding. They're not engaging. They're not trying to build a reputation. There's people that are buying books and buying courses and they go right away to reselling them. They're not reading any of it. They're not going through any of the modules. They're not learning. They're not doing it the right way. So if you follow somebody like me and you're doing it the way I'm saying I did it, or, make it your own somehow and still follow those same general steps and don't do too much at one time, you're already more successful than 85% of people that start doing this. I promise you. There are free ways to do this. Again, it takes more time, self-discipline, and work. But, rather than going on YouTube and just watching so many endless videos that are in so many different things and you've got information in so many different places that's not organized, if you go into digital marketing groups and just go type the word freebie or free in the search bar and then change the filter to most recent, like there's so many things you can do to scoop up information and take notes on and then organize it later and learn to where you can go ahead and start engaging and say, oh, I know this about this from free information you got. People are giving freebies away all the time because they need leads. Okay? Don't let yourself be sold to everything unless you really need it, unless it's really going to help you profit in your business. Okay? There's a lot of people that are starting like Facebook groups. They have small numbers. And if you go in, for example, I joined a Facebook group last week and they're trying to grow. So they're like, hey, for everybody who invites 100 people to this group, we're going to give you free promo for life. If that group takes off and is popping and whatever, I did my steps. I was there in the beginning, so I never have to pay for promo in that group. Never. Now, there are groups now that I do pay promo in that are really, really great groups, but there's opportunities everywhere that you can really do things for free and get started and learn. I think it's just that overwhelming, how do I start in the beginning? Watch this video again and take notes if you need to about how I started in my journey. Things are always going to evolve and change, and you learn as you grow, and you can do this. So I'll put some links down in the description if you're interested in that Facebook marketing ebook that I wrote. It is so good. It has nothing to do with paid ads. You don't need to spend a dime. It's all organic traffic you get, how to make a separate business account, use that, what to post, how to find good quality groups and not spammy, crappy groups, what to post in there, what kinds of things to put in your post to make sure they're getting engagement and getting boosted and leading to leads, then leading to sales. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. So I'm going to link that down below if you want it. Also, with DBA or BPU, those are great places to start as well. And then, you get that free mentorship from me. But that is my story, guys. And my daughter would be so proud. And she is with me all the time. And my boys are so proud of me. I'm like, guys, mommy wrote a book. And guys, guess how many copies of mommy's book I've sold? And they're like, oh, they get so excited. So it's really, really awesome. If you watch this whole thing, you're the GOAT, and you guys have been nothing but supportive and really make me feel like I have a purpose in this, digital marketing community, and that I really am helping you guys and helping you believe in yourselves and say that I inspire you. And I really just want to say thank you for that. So stay tuned. There's going to be more to come, and hit me up in my inbox if you need anything, have any questions, and y'all have a great one and get that business launched. Love you. Mwah.